her come through, shut it down. That was better than Pitbull last year. Shout out to Pitbull. I'm from Miami. Shout out to Pitbull, but Big Glow was a better time. So I mean, I loved it. I loved it. As for this little thing here, man, Angel Reese and the Minnesota Lynx are trolling everybody, man. Like she knew that was a Minnesota. Let's be for real. She knew that was a Minnesota. It's literally Minnesota staff people. She know them people, and then they had a fee sign. Come on, y'all. But they tricked her. Cool. That's my opinion, right?
Multiple WNBA organizations have displayed interest in recruiting prominent players through social media campaigns. Minnesota, Phoenix, Dallas, and other franchises have posted content featuring Angel Reese, suggesting widespread league appeal for talented performers. The Minnesota organization previously had draft opportunities to select Reese, but chose alternative prospects instead. Chicago faces mounting pressure to provide adequate supporting talent around their cornerstone players. The organization must address roster construction issues to maintain competitive relevance and retain key personnel through upcoming contract negotiations.
Cool. That's my opinion, right? That's my opinion. But again, too, the Minnesota Lynx could have drafted her. They needed rebounding last year. They needed somebody to bang. They would have had a championship, in my opinion, had they drafted Angel, but not only drafted her, used her, because Cheryl is known for certain things, which I think she would have proved herself to Cheryl, and she would have been used. But they drafted Alyssa Peely. Wishing Alyssa Peely the best in her future endeavors, but she's been waived. And Angel Reese is a two-time All-Star this year.
The All-Star Weekend events received overwhelmingly positive reception despite mixed reviews of the actual game competition. Entertainment value reached exceptional levels throughout the weekend festivities, earning high marks from participants and observers. Community engagement and social atmosphere created memorable experiences that overshadowed competitive shortcomings. Weekend activities generated significant excitement and fear of missing out among basketball enthusiasts. Various personalities and brands successfully leveraged the event for maximum exposure and engagement. Angel Reese's partnership with Reebok demonstrated successful marketing integration, while halftime entertainment exceeded previous year's performances.
He's been waived, and Angel Reese is a two-time All-Star this year. The proof is in the pudding, man. Angel Reese is 101, man. Seriously. But also, Kathy Engelberg, pay those players. Pay those players. They said the crowd was chanting it, and they didn't tell the crowd to do that, y'all. That's why they booed Kathy as well. So yeah, I mean, that's what I got on All-Star Weekend. All in all, a good time, and I'm ready for the turn up on Stud Buzz tonight.
Right.
You can't. One last thing, my bad.
The All-Star game itself lacked competitive intensity compared to previous editions. Shot selection patterns favored long-range attempts over balanced offensive approaches, reducing overall entertainment value despite minimal defensive effort expectations. Improved shot variety and fourth-quarter intensity could have enhanced viewer experience. Multiple teams attempted recruitment messaging through social media interactions, though these efforts appeared coordinated rather than spontaneous. Minnesota staff members participated in these campaigns despite having previously passed on drafting Reese during her draft year. The organization needed rebounding and interior presence, areas where Reese could have contributed to potential championship pursuits.
Hey, one last thing, my bad, HD.
No, you good. Go ahead.
Cannot force authenticity. Authenticity. Excuse me, y'all. I'm a little bit tired. You cannot force authenticity. Authenticity wins every time. That's why Angel is winning. That's why Asia Wilson, Stud Buzz is winning, because they breaking that barrier to humanize the players. We get to see them in the background just be themselves, and they just like us. You realize that's their job, just like your job is McDonald's or wherever you work.
Minnesota selected Alyssa Peely instead of Reese, though Peely was subsequently released while Reese achieved multiple All-Star selections. This contrast highlights drafting decisions and their long-term consequences for franchise building and competitive success. League salary discussions emerged during weekend events, with crowd participation indicating fan support for improved player compensation. Commissioner reception reflected ongoing negotiations and player advocacy efforts regarding financial structures and revenue-sharing arrangements. Authenticity emerged as a central theme throughout weekend discussions. Genuine personality expression and barrier-breaking content creation humanize athletes and increase fan connection. Players demonstrating authentic characteristics while maintaining professional excellence create stronger audience engagement than manufactured personas. Social media presence and personality-driven content contribute significantly to league growth and individual player marketability. Supporters encourage authentic expression while discouraging negative criticism that fails to acknowledge professional achievements and personal character. Reese's intelligence and strategic thinking become apparent through her public positioning and business decisions. Her absence from Chicago's lineup against Atlanta exposed team dependence on her. Championship contention requires appropriate supporting cast construction around elite individual performers. Organizations that successfully surround cornerstone players with complementary talent create sustainable competitive advantages and long-term success potential. Candace Parker's recent player tier rankings sparked significant controversy when she positioned Angel Reese in the C-level category. The 7-time All-Star and 2-time MVP's assessment generated substantial backlash from Reese supporters who questioned the placement of their preferred player alongside developing talents rather than established stars. Parker's methodology emphasized players capable of carrying teams as primary or secondary options. She acknowledged Reese's offensive rebounding capabilities while clarifying that elite rankings require demonstrated leadership and team-carrying abilities. The ranking system placed Ojo Wilson, Nafisa Collier, and Brianna Stewart in the supreme tier, with Caitlin Clark earning A-level recognition, leaving Reese grouped with players still establishing their professional credentials. The ranking criteria focused on championship-level impact rather than individual statistical accumulation. Parker explained that higher-tier placement demanded proven ability to elevate teammate performance and deliver winning results under pressure. Wilson's multiple MVPs, defensive honors, and championship rings exemplified the standards required for elite recognition. Collier's two-way excellence and versatile skill set demonstrated the comprehensive impact Parker valued in top-tier evaluation. Stewart's championship history and positional flexibility reinforced the emphasis on proven winners rather than statistical performers. Clark's rapid transformation of Indiana's offensive system illustrated the team-elevating qualities distinguishing franchise cornerstones from role players. Parker defended her assessment during subsequent media appearances, emphasizing respect for all players while maintaining analytical objectivity. She clarified that rankings reflected basketball evaluation, rather than personal criticism, focusing on professional capabilities and organizational impact. The controversy intensified following Chicago's performance against Minnesota, where Reese committed 9 turnovers while recording her characteristic double-double statistics. This game highlighted the disconnect between individual numbers and team success that Parker's rankings address. Statistical analysis reveals concerning patterns regarding Reese's impact on team performance. Chicago's win percentage shows notable improvement when Reese plays fewer than 30 minutes compared to games featuring extended playing time. This data contradicts narratives about her essential value to team success. The turnover issues extend beyond isolated incidents, representing systematic problems with decision-making under defensive pressure. Opposing teams have identified these weaknesses, designing specific strategies to exploit Reese's ball handling limitations in crucial situations. Chicago's record against winning teams provides additional context for evaluating individual contributions. The organization has achieved minimal success against quality competition, raising questions about building strategies centered around players whose statistics don't translate to victory. The 9-turnover performance against Minnesota exemplified fundamental issues masked by rebounding statistics. The Sky competed early before Reese's decision-making deteriorated, leading to forced passes and poor shot selection that enabled opponent momentum shifts. Video analysis of these turnovers reveals basic fundamental errors rather than results of elite defensive pressure. Simple passing mistakes, traveling violations, and ball handling errors suggest developmental needs that contradict superstar positioning. Coaching staff responses to these performance patterns have prioritized individual achievement protection over addressing systemic weaknesses. This approach has contributed to continued struggles against competitive opposition while maintaining statistical narrative. The contrast between teams building around genuine impact players versus statistical accumulators demonstrates different organizational philosophies. Indiana's construction around Clark's team-elevating abilities produced immediate competitive improvement, while Chicago's approach has yielded minimal winning progress. Parker's assessment reflects broader analytical trends, recognizing the distinction between empty statistics and meaningful contributions. Basketball experts increasingly emphasize winning impact over individual number accumulation when evaluating player value. The manufactured rivalry narrative between Clark and Reese has faced scrutiny as performance gaps become apparent. Creating competitive storylines requires comparable impact levels rather than statistical packaging around fundamentally different contribution patterns. League development benefits from honest evaluation of player capabilities rather than promotional positioning that doesn't align with competitive reality. Sustainable growth requires recognizing authentic excellence over manufactured narratives that crumble under playoff pressure. Double-double achievements lose significance when accompanied by possession-ending mistakes that directly contribute to team defeats. Advanced metrics reveal how individual rebounding can create misleading impressions when combined with poor decision-making in other areas. Chicago's performance patterns show correlation between Reese's expanded role and decreased team effectiveness. Games featuring reduced minutes for Reese demonstrate improved ball movement, better possession efficiency, and enhanced competitive consistency. The organizational challenge involves balancing individual player development with team success priorities. Current evidence suggests these goals may be conflicting when applied to players whose statistical production doesn't correlate with winning outcomes. Future roster construction will likely emphasize proven winners over statistical performers as teams recognize the limitations of empty number accumulation. The league's competitive evolution demands authentic impact rather than promotional position. Parker's courage in providing honest assessment opened discussions about evaluation standards that prioritize winning contribution over individual achievement. This analytical approach benefits league development by establishing clearer performance expectations. The contrast between genuine game-changing ability and statistical performance continues to drive roster decisions and organizational strategy. Teams investing in authentic impact players demonstrate superior competitive positioning compared to those prioritizing individual number production. Basketball evaluation increasingly recognizes that championship construction requires players who elevate teammates rather than accumulate personal statistics at team expense. This fundamental principle distinguishes franchise cornerstones from complementary pieces regardless of promotional narratives. The WNBA's continued growth depends on building around players whose individual excellence translates to collective success. Organizations that recognize these distinctions position themselves for sustained competitive advantage over those confused by statistical illusions. Professional basketball ultimately rewards winning contributions rather than individual achievement divorced from team success. Parker's assessment reflects this fundamental reality while challenging promotional narratives that obscure competitive truth. A significant controversy erupted when basketball legend Shaquille O'Neal delivered an aggressive video response targeting former NFL quarterback Robert Griffin III over perceived disparaging remarks about Angel Reese. The Hall of Fame center displayed notable agitation while threatening physical confrontation should Griffin continue publishing content he deemed offensive toward the WNBA star. O'Neal's fierce protection included referring to Reese as family while explaining his guidance for her to ignore critics. He disparaged Griffin's broadcasting career, suggesting the ex-quarterback's legacy would center on podcasting rather than athletic accomplishment. The former Lakers star stressed his counsel for Reese to remain calm and avoid engaging with what he characterized as ignorant commentary. The dispute originated from Griffin's social media activity featuring imagery from Planet of the Apes, which O'Neal interpreted as racially motivated harassment directed at Reese. However, thorough examination of Griffin's complete message revealed he was actually denouncing racism and criticizing others who had drawn inappropriate parallels between the basketball player and fictional primate. The former Washington quarterback clarified his silence on Reese-related matters stemmed from her content inspiring death threats and violent messages targeting his family. Griffin's comprehensive explanation demonstrated his intention to combat racist attacks rather than perpetrate them. He referenced sources close to Reese confirming his evaluation that she maintains animosity toward Caitlin Clark due to persistent media comparisons. The post aimed to address inappropriate racist content others had circulated, not to attack Reese directly. Analysis suggested O'Neal reacted without absorbing Griffin's entire statement, concentrating solely on the provocative image while missing its contextual meaning. This prompted discussion about the dynamics of Shaq's relationship with Reese, with speculation ranging from uncle-niece connections to potential romantic involvement. The defensive posture reminded observers of familial bonds, where elder figures instinctively shield younger ones from perceived threats. Military anecdotes illustrated how personal relationships influence professional responses, with scenarios where romantic entanglements triggered excessive reactions to workplace disputes. Examination of Reese's current campaign statistics showed impressive individual performance, although she may not achieve the league's premier status like Clark. The ongoing competition between both players has been characterized as advantageous for WNBA development, resembling historic NBA rivalries that created interest and debate. The episode highlighted broader concerns about media commentary and professional criticism in athletics. Questions emerged regarding whether analysts should face physical intimidation for expressing viewpoints, even when those perspectives appear unpopular or potentially unjust. The boundary between legitimate sports critique and personal assault became central to discussion. Some perceived Griffin's commentary approach as publicity-seeking rather than authentic basketball evaluation, suggesting he lacks comprehensive WNBA knowledge despite frequent observations about its participants. This criticism extended to accusations that he prioritizes engagement metrics over balanced reporting. The parallel between Reese and Dennis Rodman surfaced, indicating she occupies a similarly divisive role that stimulates conversation and attention. This comparison suggested that polarizing personalities often serve vital functions in sports entertainment, even when they're not the most skilled competitors. Conversation about O'Neal's disposition revealed his history of volatile responses, similar to other NBA figures like Charles Barkley. References to previous confrontations indicated these altercations frequently represent theatrical demonstrations rather than genuine physical warnings. The potential for manufactured drama serving publicity objectives was considered, given how conflict and tension fuel viewership in contemporary sports media. The notion that the entire episode might be orchestrated for ratings reflected skepticism about modern entertainment industry practice.